Oh, let me show you the bathroom. If you were to look at me, you go, that's not her room. Yeah, it's much tidier and it's much nicer. Bathroom's so cool, I'll show you in a sec. But I'm in Copenhagen. I got here yesterday. It was a morning flight, so I am still exhausted. I'm blaming the jet lag, but there's actually no jet lag whatsoever. No, there is. I think there's an hour, so nothing. Nothing I can claim anyway. But yeah, I'm here on a little solo trip. I wanted to test my boundaries. It's going so well so far. I navigated the metro, which I think is like the big scary thing, but I think growing up and the tube, like the London Underground being my main metro point, has made it a lot easier. So today, it's beautiful blue skies actually. I'm gonna do a walking tour of my own, kind of. The hotel I'm staying at is called the Hotel Bella Grande, and they provided like a map. First of all, fabulous. Second of all, I'm not gonna be able to read it, but they provided these, and it's like a walk in the park, a shopping spree, a culture trip, a bike and a boat tour. Today I'm doing a walk in the park, and it ends up at the King's Garden. And the other day I was reading up on the Danish history, royal family history, and it's quite interesting. One thing, I'd call this a 50-50 fact. I feel like I've never explicitly said it, but it could be possible that you've kind of just gathered it. I love history. I always say my favourite period of history is revolutionary history, and kind of, I've made this up because this definitely isn't a period of history, but from like the American Revolution to the Russian Revolution, like that political history is quite good. But I do love how Queen Victoria just married all her kids to Europe. Like, it just is my cream and sugar. Like, it is so good. I love it. And Scandinavia was actually quite, like, when people talk about Queen Victoria, when people probably don't talk about this, but when I think and talk about Queen Victoria, you kind of like, and marrying her kids off in Europe, you kind of think, oh, like, to Germany, Germany and Russia, the two ones I think of. I think because of the Tsar Nicholas, Kaiser Wilhelm and George V, I think, who are all cousins. I think that's how you think of it. But Scandinavia was quite a target too. Quite a few came from Norway. I think maybe one came from Denmark. I can't remember where they came from specifically, but I know Scandinavia because they've got like 5 royal families. She's got the pick of the list there. Half of them are called Alexandra, it appears. And I'm going to try to go to Amalienborg as well. And that's after a lady called Sophie Amelia, who seems to be like a phenomenal woman. I mean, she's got a castle, so like she has to be phenomenal, but like incredible. I was reading up on her last night and I was just like, oh my word, this woman is incredible. I've been organised. I wrote down where I'm going, so I'm gonna like tick them off. I'm gonna like, put that to that into maps, and then that's that, that's that. That's just so I know where I'm going, what I'm wearing. So I've planned really cool outfits, but as things go with me, we're not wearing them. So I've got on my Uniqlo jumper, my striped Carhartt jeans, and my Adidas Gazelles. Underneath, I've got like a little waistcoat on because I'm like, in case it gets too hot, because when you're walking around you get hot a lot. But I'm trying to be out of the box, but it's actually really quite hard. So, yeah. Oh, let me show you the bathroom. It's so cool. Definitely in my top 2. You can't really see it, but it's just like nautical stripes. My top 1 was when I went to France, and the tiles were like blue tiles on the bottom, but they kind of came up to like halfway, and it just looked so cool. I loved it. So that's top 1. That's number 2, and that's as far as I've got with bathrooms. So a bit of history. The Rosenborg Palace, which is where I've just been, and the King's Garden. Well, so the Rosenborg Palace was built in 1606 for Christian IV, who doomed to do quite a lot of things. Burnt down twice. Once in 1794, and once in 1801 during the British attack of Copenhagen. And from what I understand, the British were butthurt that another country that was surrounded by sea, nearly obviously Germany, attached to Germany, was building up its navy. And we thought we should have the biggest navy in the world. We have quite a rule of the British navy had to be twice the size of the next two largest navies combined or something. And they got a bit butthurt that the Danish were building up their army, I think. Could be slightly wrong, could be wrong there, don't assume it. Or it might have been the French, and then the French do diplomacy ties or something. But yeah, it also has the crown jewels of Denmark, which is pretty cool to think about. Pretty cool things. I don't actually know where the British crown jewels are. In my mind, it's Tower Bridge, but I could be wrong. Tower of London, whatever it is. And yeah, I'm currently sat in the gardens, and it's a free place, so it just kind of seems like a place people come and sit, which is quite fun, quite funky. Like just a park when it's warm, people come here, which is quite fun. I got a cucumber ginger Collins, I think it's called, which is gin, cucumber, cane sugar, lime juice, and ginger beer. I haven't tried it, but there was so much gin that went in. It's a bit concerned, and now I'm going to go sit on the harbour. I'm torn between getting food there and going to like a hole-in-the-wall burger place, but it depends how hungry I am and how much this affects me. Let's do a taste test. Well, I've opened these, so let me taste test, but give me a second. These are in my back pocket. I went into 7-Eleven, but I find anytime you go onto the continent, anytime you go into the EU, essentially, or if you go into, no, I'd say mainland. I feel like we never had these even before Brexit. Anyways, enough with the politics. You get better Haribos. So, I went and I chose some Haribos we don't have in the UK. So we have these, which just look like mini Star Mix, I'm not going to lie. Click Mix. These, which I'm excited about. Flower Sour. And these, which I have already opened. These just, in the UK you have mushrooms, but they're not, what's it called? Sour. So I'm going to give you a real-time taste test. Never had these before. They're good. They're just mushrooms, but they're a bit sour. Unfortunately, the pizza I had earlier cut up the top of my mouth. So it kind of hurts. But that pizza was so good. They folded it in half. But it was really fun. Let's try these. The Flower Sour. We'll update you on my evening. So I went over to... They have a lot of like food markets that I would say are more established in a place like Borough Market. They're more, it feels like they created it. It wasn't organically grown, they just put it there. Which, not complaining, it's really good. And I really like it because there's one right by the harbour. So I got my little cocktail. Originally I wanted a mocktail, but they didn't have alcohol-free gin, so I had to have like the normal. And I'm not like someone who tries to go sober. Normally it's actually just the taste. I was like, I just don't want something that tastes like gin. So I was a bit worried about having it with actual gin, because I was a bit worried that it was just going to taste really alcoholic, and I was like, I don't want that. But it wasn't. You couldn't, there was, I think I had one sip where you could taste the alcohol. I was like, oh, and then I mixed it in and then it was fine. But I was watching this man pour it. And when I say he had so it was a cucumber ginger drink. So he'd put the ginger in and the ice, and then he had this like cane syrup, like the sugar syrup, the lime, and the alcohol. And when I went, so he had the non-alcoholic stuff in this hand and he had the alcoholic stuff. When he went like this, and then he just left this going for another like 5 seconds, I was like, that's 90% gin. So I was really worried, but it was really good. I have put it in my notes to hopefully make again. It didn't seem like the proportions were that precise, I'm going to say. But I was like, I actually need to live here. Like, not necessarily Copenhagen, but I need to live in a city that like water has a big effect, not a bit, like a big importance, where I could just, if I was a bit upset or not, I don't know why I keep saying this. I keep going, oh, when I'm down in the dumps. I'm like barely down in the dumps. But when I've got nothing to do, I want just like a wholesome evening. Just go down and sit by the docks. I fear I need to live in a place like that. I saw a TikTok the other day of someone going to get pizza for dinner and they took their fucking boat. Like, what? Anyways, bit of Dove Agents. Here are the sweets. I mean, I don't think they're going to be anything, not spectacular, but I feel like they're just going to be like sour. So they're sour. Quite good though. They're good, they're decent, they're just quick. But yeah, I feel like it's quite a culture to just, to like go sit by the harbour. Not even the harbour, like just like the canal. So I fear I need that in my life. I've dropped them. Now these, they have some interesting parts to them. Open. Oh my god. Does it say what they are? No, okay. So these are the ones I'm interested in, but I'm not sure what they are. Oh, they're just hard sweets. Not hard sweets, they're like licorice coated. Oh, that was a bit too licorice for me. I actually really like licorice, but that was a step too far. So I got the solid like 6 out of 10. And nothing spectacular, but they're like tasty. I'm actually quite full because I had some chips as well. So I'm not actually gonna eat, despite the fact I've just opened 3 packets of food, I'm not actually gonna eat them.